Hi guys, my name's Natalie. I'm just a girl who lives here in Los Angeles. I'm actually originally from Hong Kong and I moved to California, well, the Bay Area, when I was 5 years old. My heritage has always been this big, massive question mark. I never really knew my maternal side's grandfather and my paternal side's great-grandfather, so scientifically, there's a lot of loose pieces there. And yet, here I am. I mean, I don't exactly need to know scientifically what I am, but I always had to answer that question ever since I was 7 years old of, what languages do you speak? Where are you really from? And as a 7-year-old, I would always just say, I'm Eurasian, which is not true. But by the time I got to high school, I would just tell people, I'm Chinese. And in a country where it's just a huge melting pot of cultures, I think that figuring out your heritage is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's virtually impossible. At least until now, because I have 23andMe. So let's go ahead and figure out my heritage. So I'm gonna open it and the email says, Natalie, welcome to you. The 23andMe results for Natalie Wong are in. A world of DNA discovery is waiting. View your reports. I'm really gonna be unexcited if I'm just like Chinese or Mongolian and that's it, and my like grandpa that I never knew just wasn't anything cool. Of course I have to sign in. Okay. I was waiting for this magical moment and nope, you gotta sign in. What if I forget my password? Okay. Signing in. Doesn't help that I'm drinking coffee because now my heart rate is going like a gazillion miles a minute. I shouldn't be surprised that I'm 64.3% Chinese. Okay, so this is kind of crazy because I didn't think I was going to be only 64.3% Chinese. Yeah, that's insane to me. I'll talk more about why I didn't think I thought it was gonna be more, but so my ancestry composition is 64.3% Chinese. Maternal haplogroup is M46. I have no idea what that is yet. Oh, so there is European. What? There's Italian? That's so weird. Okay, I'm only 2.2% European. So, but East Asian and Native American. Native American is 99.5%. So we'll look into that. Okay, so I'm 64.3% Chinese. And then I'm 1.5 broadly East Asian. I'm 33.3% Southeast Asian, which is, I definitely already knew that because of my mom's side. And then 0.5% broadly East Asian, Native American. I don't know if it'll break certain things down. Okay, so broadly East Asian is defined as Japan, Korea, China, Mongolia, and the Yakut people of Eastern Russia. The people of Northeastern Asia most likely arrived using a different later route than the settlers of Southeastern Asia. They eventually crossed Beringia, I don't know what that is, 12 to 15,000 years ago to become the ancestors of Native Americans. So I can basically tell all of my American friends I was the OG American. But anyways, Southeast Asia extends from Burma to Indonesia. Modern humans arrived in Southeastern Asia as early as 50,000 years ago, likely using a migration route along the coast of India. So today, Southeastern Asia is comprised of many ethnic groups, and that does include Malaysia. So unfortunately, they don't break that down. That's one point of contention I had with 23andMe going into it, is because I knew that a lot of Asians haven't taken this, so I knew that I wasn't going to get as solid a breakdown as I wanted. But I mean, it did confirm like what I pretty much generally know. Percentage-wise, I'm really interested. Let's go into, let's see, how do I do this? Okay, so I am actually 0.2% Spanish and Portuguese, which makes sense because the Europeans did actually go to Malaysia. They did go to Malaysia and they did do a lot of trading. Also in Hong Kong, there's a lot of Portuguese on, there's an island off of Hong Kong, and oh my gosh, why am I not remembering it now? When I remember it, I'll tell you, but it's a huge like casino island. There's a lot of like Portuguese people there. So that's crazy. And then broadly Southern Europe, which is Iberian Italian. So I'm 0.2% Italian, that's kind of interesting. It says I most likely have a 4th great grandparent, so that makes it great, right? Like grandparents fifth great grandparent or sixth great grandparent or seventh great who was 100% Iberian. This person was likely born between 1720 and 1810. So they must have come over because of the conquering of the Dutch and their allies. Now that I'm done looking at all that percentage stuff, I'm gonna go looking at my mom's side of the family, like where they kind of traveled, which is called the maternal haplogroup, kind of tracking where my ancestors came from and their movement patterns and the migration patterns. So I have haplogroup M46. It says here, as our ancestors ventured out of Eastern Africa, they branched off in diverse groups that crossed and recrossed the globe over tens of thousands of years. Some of their migrations can be traced through haplogroups, families of lineages that descend from a common ancestor. My maternal haplogroup can reveal the path followed by the women of my maternal line. So haplogroup L, if every person living today could trace his or her maternal line back over thousands of generations, all of our lines would meet at a single woman who lived in Eastern Africa between 150,000 and 200,000 years ago. The story of my maternal line begins with her. So this is where it started, kind of like southeastern Africa, moved north, then moved east away from Africa, and they all kind of divvied from there. So we're gonna go to 65,000 years ago now, and 50,000. Okay, so the origin of my group M. The exit from Africa itself likely crossed the Bab el Mandeb, I don't know how to pronounce anything, a narrow strait of the southern end of the Red Sea. So my ancestors probably migrated rapidly along the coast of the Indian Ocean and then reached Southeast Asia, on my mom's side, within a few thousand years. The Ice Age climate would have made life away from the coast very difficult for new migrants, but then the improvements of the climate basically kind of ended where my ancestors went along the path of major rivers like the Indus in India. So my ancestors actually came from India. Once it established itself in coastal Asia and some inland locations as well, M gave rise to local haplogroups throughout the continent. Some of my traits may be influenced by having Neanderthal variants, and it just so happens that I have 244 Neanderthal variants, which is less than 86% of 23andMe customers. I have fewer Neanderthal variants than them, so my Neanderthal ancestry accounts for less than 4% of my overall DNA. I don't know why it tells me I'm first place out of my family and friends. I don't know what first place I won. I've never won first place in anything, so this is really cool. And then it talks about some really cool stuff, like how 0 of my Neanderthal variants associated with having straighter hair, which is why my hair is like never freaking straight. And I'm less likely to sneeze after eating dark chocolate, which I didn't know. Why does anyone care? Less back hair. I know this about myself already, so okay. And I have 0 Neanderthal variants associated with my height. Now I'm just gonna look at some random stuff that's on here. I don't really know. It's talking about my DNA family and DNA relatives. I'm gonna kind of skip past that part because that doesn't interest me as much right now. But compared to the average 23andMe customer, my DNA relatives are 70% more likely to do a cartwheel, which I can. 60% more likely to have a perfect pitch. I don't think I have a perfect pitch. I don't have a terrible pitch. 59% are less likely to have lived near a farm when they were young. How do they know that via your DNA? Like, oh, you live near a farm somewhere in the Midwest. 56% more likely to drink caffeinated soda. I actually don't drink caffeinated soda at all, but that's because of the way my mom raised me. 47% more likely to drink tea. Oh wow, because you found out I was Asian? Smart. 46% less likely to like the taste of dark licorice. That's true, I really don't like licorice. 46% more likely to smell asparagus in their pee. What does your pee even smell like with asparagus in it? 43% less likely to own a cat, this is true. 40% less likely to able to wiggle their nose. I guess I don't know. 32% more likely to drink espresso drinks, 29% more likely to be able to sing back a note they have just heard. Can you sing a note? Did I match it? Was it perfect pitch? No. Okay. So everything was just confirmed. 25% more likely to be able to curl their tongue. I can do it. 24% less likely to drink brewed coffee. I'm drinking coffee. 23% more likely to be able to do the side splits. This gets actually kind of interesting. 20% more likely to exercise by strength training. I wonder why though. Now it has stuff like carry a tune, 19% more likely, 18% more likely to exercise at high intensity. So basically it's telling me that I just am normally not an exercising type of person. 18% more likely to be able to whistle. It's true, I can't whistle for shit. 11% less likely to sweat while sleeping, and 10% more likely to own a dog. They think I'm gonna own a cat before I own a dog, and that's not true. She's probably playing tennis.
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
I opened my 23andMe report.
And?
I am 0.2% European.
PJs, is that okay?
Yeah, if you're cool with being on the film. So I am 0.2% European, specifically like Italian and Portuguese and Spanish. 2% South Asian, which is like Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. And then 99.5% obviously is East Asian and Native American.
Native American?
Yeah, I have 0.5% broadly East Asian, Native American. So here's the interesting part of the Asian ancestry. So 65% of my blood is Chinese and broadly East Asian. 33.3% is the Southeast Asian side from mom's side, which is actually quite a lot. I'm only 65% Chinese.
Right. Well, okay. Wow.
And then, yeah, and then the other huge part is like comes from an Indian kind of heritage.
Okay.
You know what's really interesting is that there's a link if you wanted to, and if you want to be a part of it, that lists all of like your possible distant cousins, and I have a shit ton of cousins. It's really cool to know your heritage, and that's just the truth. I have 0.2% Italian in me. Like, damn. But honestly, my heritage doesn't impact the way that I live. My personality, the way I friend people, how I eat. These things are all impacted by my living environment. It does, though, give me insight to the real answer of, where are you really from? I think now when people ask me that question, I'll probably answer, mostly Chinese, but I'm a third Southeast Asian. I don't know. It's cool to know what you actually really truly are. So, hooray science.